Let me introduce you to the very first of its kind Google Chrome extension that allows you to launch a PhoneBurner dial session from your CRM. This extension has been designed to work with HubSpot. As you can see, HubSpot here is listed as a level 3 integration. This works in combination with the integration that PhoneBurner has built on their end. This is not an extension created and maintained by PhoneBurner. It is an extension that uses the PhoneBurner API to allow you to launch a dial session from your CRM. So let me explain. Here we are on the HubSpot CRM. When I open up the extension, the Google Chrome extension, it recognizes that I am on HubSpot and we have a full integration with HubSpot, meaning you're going to need to link your HubSpot account and your PhoneBurner account to this extension. Let me show you how that works. Let's go ahead and disconnect. Let's go back to settings and we'll disconnect HubSpot as well. So this is what you'll see the very first time you install the extension. You're going to need to save what's called a personal access token. You can get that from your PhoneBurner account. You just log into your PhoneBurner account and you go to Integrations, Personal Access Tokens, and you're going to generate a new personal access token. I've already generated one, so I'm just going to copy that one. And I'm going to paste it in the personal access token box. Then I'm going to click Save Pat. Click OK. Now my settings will show that I have connected to PhoneBurner. If I go back to the Dial tab or the Dial section, it still recognizes that I'm on HubSpot and I've not yet connected to HubSpot, so I need to click Connect to HubSpot. Once I do that, I'm going to need to go ahead and choose the account I want to link to. I've already granted access before, so I didn't have to go through that other screen, but you will be asked to confirm that you really want to allow this app to connect to your HubSpot account. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Now back at HubSpot, let's refresh. Let's go back to our extension and you will see we're back to where we started, right? We see that we are connected to HubSpot. Our settings show that we can disconnect from both PhoneBurner and HubSpot. I do want to point out a couple other things here on settings before we jump into a dial session though. We've got the goal disposition. So if there's specific dispositions or outcomes that you're looking to track, you can go ahead and tell the app, the extension, what it is that you want to track and save those goals. The widget will also follow along within HubSpot while you're dialing. And there's this widget that's going to show you some activity, like how many calls you've made, some details about all of your calls throughout that day. And you can set it up to where it auto collapses or doesn't auto collapse throughout the dial session. I'm going to leave that turned on. Let's go back up to the Dial tab and let's go ahead and close the window. Let's select some records and now let's go back to our extension and launch a HubSpot dial session. Those records that I've selected are now going to be captured and sent to PhoneBurner to create a dial session. So here we are creating a dial session. This is the widget that I was just talking to you about. And that was the auto collapse. So as you saw, it was big and now it's small because I have the auto collapse turned on. Now let's go ahead and get connected and start our dial session. All right, so now we're calling our first contact, created in Mary's account. Super descriptive contact record name, right? So here you can see, as I'm making the calls, the page behind, let's go ahead and minimize the dial session window here. The page behind me is that actual record created in Mary's account. That's what I'm talking about with the follow me. As you're making calls, the HubSpot page will update and follow along with the contact that you're calling. Let's go back to our dial session window. It is a pop-up, so you'll see it in a separate window that you can open and close. Well, you don't want to close it, just minimize it, right? And then we can go ahead and disposition. and move on to our next call. As you can see, the background is updating to the contact that we're calling. Let's go ahead and do that again. I'll click no answer and move on. And I want you to pay attention to the stats over here in the follow me menu, this little widget. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this again. So you'll see as you're making calls, the total calls that you've made will be updating as you go along. It's going to track your connected calls and appointments, whether you do anything or not. And then if you set any specific goals, we're going to be tracking those. So appointments is looking for disposition that's specifically like set appointment, appointment, made appointment, anything that has appointment in the disposition status will get flagged or tracked as an appointment. The connected aspect or stat is going to be grabbed based off of the disposition setting in PhoneBurner. So let me show you what that's going to look like. Let's go back to our dial session. We just wrapped up our call with Andrew Sample. Let's say we booked an appointment with Andrew. Let's go ahead and click on appointment. We move on to our next call, and in the next 30 seconds we will see this widget will update. Let's go ahead and refresh that, and it's already updated. You can see the last outcome was an appointment. The duration was 52 seconds. And total calls has been updating. So anyway, that is the little widget. Let's go ahead and end our dial session because I do want to point out a couple other things here. Let's go ahead and end. And we're going to click on stop following. Actually, before I click on stop following, let's go ahead and click on contacts. And you'll notice that as soon as I clicked on contacts, it took me back to Buddy Baker, which is the last contact we called. That's because the widget is following along and it's not letting you move away from that record on this specific tab. You can have other tabs open and you can navigate anywhere you want in HubSpot, but this specific tab is now locked to this dial session until we click one of these stop buttons. Once I stop it, the widget goes away and I can now navigate anywhere I want in this tab in HubSpot. So a couple other things I do want to point out. So we just launched a dial session from contacts, but I want to point out that you can actually launch dial sessions from companies. So if you come in here and you select a list of companies and click the option to begin the dial session, the system will actually grab all of the contacts related to those companies and put those contacts into a dial session. And then it'll follow along from contact to contact. So even though I was on the companies section or the companies object or module, whatever you want to refer to it as in HubSpot, as I'm dialing, I'm going to be calling the contacts related to those companies. And I'm going to be following along with those contacts. Let's go ahead and end this session. Let's go back to our CRM menu and let's go to deals. You can also launch dial sessions from deals. So if you use deals to manage how your where a contact is and whatever with your contacts, if you're using deals, you can select the deals and you can launch a dial session from deals. Now when you launch a dial session from deals, again, we're going to call the contacts related to those deals. Let's go ahead and hit continue. And as you're making calls, again, you're going to be looking at the contact details in PhoneBurner, as well as we're going to be following along in HubSpot with those contacts. Let's go ahead and hit no answer and end this session. Lastly, I do want to point out that if you want activities to log here in HubSpot, that is done using the activity logging integration that PhoneBurner has already created. So let's go ahead and bring up PhoneBurner again. So if we go back to our PhoneBurner, this time we're not going to go to the personal access tokens in integrations. We're going to go to the HubSpot section. So we go to HubSpot. You need to make sure you have this turned on and linked to the different team members. That way the activities will log back to HubSpot. my widget, my extension is not going to log those activities. We're going to rely on the tool that PhoneBurner's already created if you want the activity logging. They do a great job there. There's no reason for me to replicate that. So anyway, that being said, that's the HubSpot side of this. But as you may have noticed, let's go ahead and close this window. What you may have noticed when we launched the dial session is this is what's referred to as a level 3 full integration. What does that mean? Does that mean there's other levels? Yes, it does. As you're out there navigating, right? So this extension was specifically built to try to help HubSpot customers take advantage of PhoneBurner and launch dial sessions from within HubSpot. So that's why it was specifically built. But while building it, I was thinking, you know what, there might be other CRMs, other people out there that use different CRMs that want to take advantage of a widget, an extension like this. And so we built it, or I built this, so that it has 3 levels of an integration. So the first level is generic. Let's go to CRM. This CRM actually has built-in integration with us. It's called Be In Touch. Great team over there. If you're in mortgage and you need a good CRM, I'd highly recommend that you take a look at Be In Touch as your mortgage CRM. Again, they've already got an integration built there, but I have, they've given me access to an account that I can play around with. And so I wanted to show you what this looks like in a CRM that this extension was not specifically built for. So if we go here and we see a list, right? So I've got a list of contacts here. If I go to the little extension, what you'll notice is it does not say level 3. It says level 1 generic mode, meaning it doesn't recognize this CRM at all. We've done no custom programming for this. And so what I can do is I can click this scan and launch. And what the system is going to do is it's going to read that page and it's going to try to identify names and phone numbers and email addresses. So you're going to have phone numbers in the view, in that table view. But if you do, then you may be able to. I just want to add that little caveat in there. It's not a guarantee that you'll be able to launch a dial session from any CRM, because every CRM lays out their tables a little bit differently. But if they've laid it out in a way that my little extension can scan it and extract the information, then you'll be able to launch a dial session. So as you can see here, we've got generic mode enabled. It did find 20 contacts, and now I can start dialing. And now my widget's gonna pop up, and the system is gonna try to follow along. So if it can extract the appropriate information and navigate to those records as it's dialing, we're going to do it. Again, this is generic mode. I don't know for sure that this is going to work for your CRM, but it might. Give it a shot. So I'm going to go ahead and end this dial session. Close this window and click stop following. So that is a level 1 integration. Now there is a such thing as a level 2, because HubSpot is level 3 and generic is level 1. There is a such thing as a level 2. And Pipedrive is one that I've done some basic reviewing of how they lay out contacts on their screen. And it is a level 2. So it's optimized for scraping. It's not going to be able to do everything that we can do with HubSpot, but it will be able to scrape the CRM and grab those contacts. My trial now with Pipedrive has ended, so I can't actually log in and show you. Maybe I'll do a different video at some point and show you, but I did want to point out that Pipedrive is a level 2 integration, and it is optimized for scraping in this particular case. And so you'll be able to scan and launch your dial session from the Pipedrive contact list view. So anyway, that is a quick little overview of this extension. I created this to hopefully help some people out. If you do run into issues, feel free to reach out to me. This is, again, not a PhoneBurner application. So PhoneBurner support's not going to be able to help you with this. You're welcome to reach out to me, jeffosnes@gmail.com, if you'd like. I'm happy to help any way I can, but again, I did this just to help some people. I don't make any money off of this specific extension. It's a free extension, so feel free to use it. Hopefully it helps you. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul, right? So anyway, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope this helps you and your team get more done in less time. Thanks again. Bye for now.